Hey, what's up? This is Not Hilarious. I'm your host, Larry, and my face is a little bit shiny because I just got off the shower. I just moisturized my skin. As you know, I think I said this in the last episode. I have like really crazy eczema, especially when it comes to like the winter and stuff like that. And my skin dries up in the winter time, so I had a rant about fuck winter, fuck winter, man. It fucks up my skin. So, man, oh man, I wish I have oily skin. I really, I envy people who has nice skin, man. You know, I try not to touch my face because it's so itchy at the same time. But I rub my face in coconut oil, in like organic coconut oil, and it feels amazing. It feels like my skin's like moisturized and stuff like that. So yep, today is no January 9th and episode 4. I said that I'm going to do 2 episodes a week, and I'm doing it. I'm trying to do it, and I just want to do like 20 minutes to like half an hour for an episode. And I was trying to figure out what I want to talk about, because I'm like, what do I really want to talk about? And it's like, okay, doing all this motivational shit, it's like, it's so cliche. And like, anybody can talk about that. I can talk about that. But I like to talk about motivational stuff with results, and I do have a little bit of results with it. And now that sun is shining in my face, but the lighting's good, and everything. And oh man, it's cold. It's about a good 40 in the morning degrees, and in the afternoon it's like about a good 56 degrees. And some of you saying, like, some of you that lives in Minnesota or something, or like in Canada, and you're like, man, that's hot. Well, you know what, to us in LA, we are a little bit spoiled with good weather. That's why a lot of us, that's why a lot of people would like to move to Los Angeles, because we got good weather, and I'm used to it. So if it's like below 50 degrees, yes, I act like a little bitch about it. And yes, I'm going to complain about it, you know? So, damn, I'm like ranting off out of nowhere. I don't know what I was talking about. But, um, but yeah, man, anybody can talk about motivational stuff, and it sounds so cliche, And um, I'm trying to work on looking at the camera. That way, it's like I'm looking at you guys, and it's like you and me are on the phone, man. And I'm doing all the talking. And that's part of a Not Hilarious podcast. And we're 4 episodes deep. 4 episodes deep. And you know what? I think I'm going to talk about a lot about my life. And this episode, I really want to reflect back on 2019, which was last year, and what I did wrong, or like what really went wrong. So I'm trying to go as much as I can, because there's such some personal things I just don't want to talk about, and especially in public and stuff like that. But you know what? This past year, it's been, what's crazy? It's been a good 3 years and like 3 months. Since me and my ex, we split, which is my son's mom. And I'll be honest with you, man, it's like the best thing that happened to me since we split. And there's a part of me that just like, sometimes I ask myself this every day, like, do I really want to get into another relationship, and or do I really want to get into like a marriage again? Maybe. I would love, if I do get to like another marriage, it's going to be one last shot, you know? And now, like, it's been 3 years and 3 months, and I reflect back a lot about my past marriage. And we only been like married for like 4 years or something like that. You know what? 3 years. Very short. Very short marriage, very short relationship. That's possible. That is my longest relationship in my 31 years living on this planet. 4 years of um, of in a relationship, and I went all in with that. You know, so dumb of me. I didn't do my due. One thing, man. One thing when you get to relationship is that don't put emotion. Don't make decisions with emotions. Man, that's a big lesson, man. Don't make decisions with emotions. I think that's so dangerous because when you're so emotional about things, that goes with everything. That goes with relationship, life, just life in general, business, you know, parenting, in relationships with people, and sometimes people get so emotional, riled up, they they burn the bridges with their friends or their parents, family members, or anything like that, you know. And let me give you an example. Politics, okay? I've seen so many people end their friendship because of political ideology. I think that's so stupid. And then when people get so riled up just talking about politics, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, what did you get anything done when you argue with your friends or family members because you guys have different political perspective and shit? You didn't get anything done. Do you work at a White House or something, or do you work in a Pentagon, or do you work in Washington D.C. or whatever? And people talk like they know everything about it. You are in no place to be talking about it. You can give opinions like, I think da 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 da. I think I feel this is dangerous, that 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 Iran stuff, But you can't just go out and say, you can't. I don't know, man. You just don't get too riled up about emotion. You just don't end a good friendship because you have different political views on certain things, or just different perspective on things. Political, economical shit. Uh, Vaccination's a big one. One guy, he's a good friend of. Well, he was a good friend of mine, and I always support what he does, and like he's a big anti-vaxer, and all I did was question the guy, and like he stopped being our friend. You know, he's like some kind of spiritual healer. Like he heals people with his supposed powers and stuff like that. And I always question stuff like that. It's like, okay, how does that? Like it's just so crazy how um, some people can like believe in that so fast. Just so vulnerable. You know, because he supposedly has this crazy. He supposedly have this power to heal people, and they call it chi. I get it, energy and stuff like that. I believe in energy, but when you start saying like energy can heal you like an instant like that, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. And that the guy, I'm not gonna mention his name. Yeah, he made a Facebook post about something that oh, vaccination is very, very dangerous, something like that, very anti-vaccine vaccination statement. Okay. And uh and I just ask questions like, hey man, so what about all the scientists that dedicate their lives into trying to save people by vaccinating people? They dedicate their lives to try to figure this thing out. That's why we don't have stuff like polio. That's why we don't have certain diseases that just doesn't exist no more. Or polio, uh, other diseases. And what about I just question the guy. Like give me like a good statement. And I'll believe you. And he just said, oh, just watch this video. Just watch this video. And then I was like, I don't have time. I thought we're friends. And if you can just give me like a just educate me a little bit why you believe this. And then his friend, which is like his like protege or something, or like his apprentice, just went off at me saying, "You are a lazy parent. You're dumb. Obviously you said that you're not a scientist. Well, no shit, you're not a scientist. This and that. It's so ridiculous, man." And then he unfollowed me and stuff like that. It's hilarious. It's crazy how people, just because we have different, you know, different opinions about things, or we have these different ideologies, doesn't mean that we cannot be friends. That's how we learned. If you look at one of the greatest empire in human history, like look at Genghis Khan. Okay, bad person. Okay, he raped a lot of people. He invaded a lot of lands, killed people, and this is like during medieval times, back in the 1200s. You know, and that's why, like, he's, as of today, it's like 0.5% that there's like a bloodline of 0.5% of the human population that is his bloodline from father to son. That's insane. you know but let me get back to Genghis Khan. That, what's so great about his empire is that he had, Muslim, uh, Buddhist, Christian in his city. And then he had, rabbis, priests, monks, wait, those people, but also in the Muslim version of it. I don't know what you call that. I really don't. I'm sorry. Um, and he always take advice from them. And he had architecture from the Ottoman Empire, or like Iran or something. This is back in the day, so I don't know what kind of country it is. And he always looks out for talent, and that's how they became such a powerful empire for a long time, for like 4 or 5 generations or something, until like Kublai Khan, he probably fucked it up, you know. But that's what I meant. Like, that's what humans is about. We need to learn how to communicate, to learn, not just get mad at each other. you know if not all people that support, not all people that is like Republican are bad people and racist. Okay. And there's just some people, especially in LA, like, they're so liberal. And it sucks that I have friends that, that are really right winged or conservative or whatever. They are very low key about it. They cannot express their political opinion because they're afraid that they might get fired, especially when you work in the entertainment business or industry in LA or Hollywood. You know, you can't just say, "Oh, I support Donald Trump. I like the way he says this and that." But people get so mad. Why? Why people get so mad about that? That we should, like, like, if someone's like, let's just say, I have no political, you know I don't take sides in anything. I like to be in the middle. I like to listen to the left and be like, "Oh, okay," and listen to the right. "Oh, okay, I like that too." And I like to put it together and live my life that way. You know. But I just learned not to get so riled up over something that I believe in, especially sports. I used to be like that, man. I used to be such a follower. That's so crazy. Yeah, and then people get so mad, fuck the Raiders or fuck the Lakers, this and that. And people love to get riled up, and I can never figure out why. I don't know. That just We just like stuff like that. We just like to, get in people's face and get mad at each other for no particular reason, because it doesn't solve anything. It's not Nobody's not making money. If someone pays me to be controversial and like get people mad, oh, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. You know. So I need to stop saying so. So I want to reflect on 2019. I think I want to reflect back on that. And you know what? That was a hard time. Last year was just such a shit show for me. And I work like 3 jobs. Um, I do have my own business, stuff like that, and I am a full time single parent. So when you're trying to juggle all that together, it's probably one of the hardest things, and that's one another reason why I hesitant on like thinking about like having another kid, because man, it's a lot of responsibility, a lot of responsibility. Never repeat that again. Having a kid is a lot of responsibility, you know? And people think, oh, you just change diapers, like you feed him this and that and da 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 da. They make it sound so easy, but it's like you gotta remember, like humans, they're gonna grow up, and we probably have one of the most complex mind, because we don't just think logically, but we also have these emotions, and we think like oh, man, I don't know what to say. We just have these emotions, and we have to mold them the best way we can to a good human being, you know? And that's the hard part. The hard part is like showing the kid love and make sure that you're there for them. But you don't want to like helicopter the kid to the point where you protect them all the time, because you need to let them go a little bit, and you need to let them make a mistake. You need to let them get hurt a little bit, like they trip, and then they trip, when they're like a toddler or something, and then you don't just be, oh my god, oh my god. You got to be like, okay, let's see what he does. And you see what they do. Are they going to get up and just walk it off? Or are they going to get up and try to clean it? Or are they going to get up and look for mommy and daddy and stuff like that? And you got to be like, hey man, if they cry and they're crying for you, say, hey man, nothing's happening. You just fell. So relax, all right? And you need to let them know that you can survive. That's a hard part. So yeah, um, you know, doing all that, it's such a big responsibility, especially when you want to run a business. And I'm running it without capital. I'm running it from zero. So the only thing that I can give to my business is my time. My time, maybe make some little side money so I could reinvest back into it. And also, last year, what I've learned is learning to manage, spend your money wisely. You know, Even though I did spend money wisely, but there's just some days where it's just, yeah, I do spend my money wisely, but I just didn't make enough money, you know? And it sucks, man. It sucks when you're not making enough money, you know? And I'm better off now. And sometimes when I look back at 2019, it's just like, man, I'm glad I'm over that. And I went through a lot of pain. Of just the pain part was just like not making enough money and provide for my son, you know? And learning to look things in more a realistic way, you know? When I honestly used to be like, I'm going to make like $100,000 a year, and I always pictured it, but I never pictured the work part, the process of it. Now it's like I learned to like, oh, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that. So I broke down, okay, if I want to make $100,000 more, and then later once I get to that level, I want to make $500,000, and then eventually, I want to make 7 figures and stuff like that. That's later on to the future. But if it's the sooner, the better for me. Cool. But when I think about making $100,000, okay, how are we going to break that down? And I had to break that down. Okay, you got to make the $8,500 a month. How do we do that? What do we need to do? You know, and yeah, you just break that down, and you have to write it down. Write it down, And then there's this guy like a Gary Vaynerchuk type of character. He said, you know, master your schedule, and I didn't get that. And now it's like, oh, that's what he meant by mastering your schedule. Understand what you're going to do tomorrow. Understand what you're going to do next week. What is the goal for next week, and break that down. You know, if you have this specific goal, break that down. You know, don't be lazy. Just live like ear to, um, let's just go by play by ear or something. You know, if that's a saying, play by ear. Let me type that out. Play by ear. Play by ear. You know, learning to play by ear is the ability to perform musician to produce a piece of music. No, that's not what I meant. Play it by ear. Okay, yeah, you play it by ear. To play it by ear is to act spontaneously and according to the situation. So you don't want to live your life spontaneously and just according to the situation. Certain things you do, I would say 40% you should play it by ear, and in 60% you got to go by that schedule. You know, because yeah, there's is life. You know, there's just some things that it's just not going according to plan. That's why we look at the map of like, I want to go here, and then it's like a straight line, but then there's gonna be like turns, there's gonna be dips, there's gonna be hills, and it's everything is not going according to plan. And that's the thing that I have learned is that write things down, do what you're gonna do, take it step by step, and learn to be patient and understand your schedule. You make the schedule, and I think that's the beauty of being like an entrepreneur is that the freedom, you know, and um, that's my definition of success is who has the most freedom, and the more freedom you have, financial freedom, just time freedom is the most for me. I That's why I cannot do uh um I cannot work a 9 to 5 because it's like it sounds so depressing, especially when you do things like the most depressing part is like you put in all this time to like you put in all this time to like to work and make yourself look good and to impress your boss, and then who's making the money while sitting there and just like delegating the work. Who's making all the money? It's the boss. It's the owner. They're not doing anything. They're just chilling most of the time. Yeah, they make important decisions, but they're not doing the hard labor work. And that's what I want. Be that guy. You know, don't be the guy where it's like you have to clock in, clock out, and then you're dedicating your life to to somebody's dream. You know, that scares me the most. I don't want to do that. I don't want to live a life where, you know, I'm pursuing someone else's dream. I'm pursuing my dreams. And it's okay to be selfish. And that's another thing I've learned too. It's okay to be selfish, especially when you have kids. I seen, I know some parents that they just like, I want my kid to be happy, whether it's going to make me sad, and it's just like, nah, don't do that, man, because your happiness means a lot, because if you're not, kids can sense that, if you're not happy, the kids will sense that, and they're gonna think like it's their fault or something, you know. Like for example, if you hate your ex, if you hate, like let's just say you're a single parent and you don't like your ex, it is like you have to hang out with them. That's a bad example because it's not a big deal, but like to me, I'm not fond of my ex, but if we gotta be together to for an event for my son, yeah, you know, I don't like to, it's like it's a torture if I had to be around her, man. Just hearing her talk, that's a bad example though. Some people just like damn it, I don't, my bad. I don't get, I can't give a, I don't know, I can't come up with the example of that, like to sacrifice your own happiness for your kid happiness for you, so your kid can be happy, but you do deserve to be happy. You deserve to be a little bit you deserve to be selfish. That's one thing I've learned, you know, and stop pleasing people. And that's another thing I've learned is stop pleasing people, and that's hard, because you want people to like you and stuff like that, and you just want to be liked, and um, at the end of it, I'm starting to get like all that shit. It doesn't mean nothing. You know, your true friends are the ones gonna talk about you when you're not around. Talk good about you when you're not around. When you're dead, they're the one that's gonna keep that fire alive for you, and that's a true friend. And you can tell by that when when you're not around and they say, hey, this guy said good things about you. You know, that's a true friend. And having good friends, to me at the moment, it's such a hard thing to find. You know, and it's okay. When you're alone, it's okay. Being a single parent, very lonely, but it's okay. You know, and I know I talk a lot about. I'm going to. I know in this episode I'm talking about like reflecting back in 2019. I think I barely just scratched the tip of it. I'm just like rambling off. You know, sorry about that, but it's been a good 25 minutes. Just talking a bunch of nonsense. You know, episode 4. I will be back next Tuesday, and episode 5 next Tuesday. Cool, man. We're going to be consistent with this, man. We're so going to be consistent with it, and yeah, I hope you guys have a good weekend. Happy New Year's one more time. You know, if you're gonna do something, stick to it. Okay, don't be lazy. It's not that hard. It's just a lot of discipline. You know, so yep. Have a good one. See ya.